Coach's Show is right here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS. Curtis Anderson with you, along with the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers. That is Luke Strand, and we're talking Musketeer hockey in a big positive way because last week Sioux City's played 3 games and they came away with 3 victories. Sioux City now 10-11-2-1 on the season. That's good for 23 points and make that 5 straight wins for the Sioux City Musketeers. And Coach, before we even talk about individual games last week, I've had this guy, a number of people, so what are they doing different? Why are they starting to win when they lost by a goal before? Now they're winning by a goal. What do you see?
I think combination-wise, I would have to credit, obviously, Matty Jarusik in that. I think he's come up with some stops at some crucial times, or at least maybe put a stop to a situation that could be on the, not letting a back-to-back goal type thing go in. That's one. But I really have to say, I think we've just kind of matured a little bit and playing way more of a team conceptual game, really not caring who's getting the credit. And at the end of the day, we're young. So guys, it's taken, this league it's one of those leagues. If you don't, there's no magic powder to it, So it took us till probably Christmas here to get going, and hopefully now we can just keep ripping.
Well, and the idea is obviously to keep improving, and keep going up the ladder. But yeah, Jarusik's been terrific, and I think your blue liners, your defensemen, have really grown too.
They have. That's a tough position in this league, and as young as we were back there, or inexperienced as far as USHL goes, it took us a little bit of time. And the addition of Konepke back there, Nate's a big kid who's added some. I think currently, the addition of Grounds with his energy and his hardness has given us a big boost that way. And at the end of the day, getting Dylan Mills back right now has been a good shot in the arm as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that come together that way, but right now it's a winning formula. We start off with the 3 games. We'll talk about them right now. You start off heading out of break and going to head to Sioux Falls, a team that's obviously very good, very veteran, and a battle to the finish once again in this one where you gave up that first goal and you countered in a minute, less than 2 minutes, let's just say.
That was by Michael Miller. There was a huge goal in response to getting down. I thought Sioux Falls came out of the gate very hot. The first 10 minutes, it felt like our ears were pinned back there pretty hard. So once we got kind of bent and didn't break in that situation, but then I thought we took the game on to a different level for ourselves there from the that 10-minute point of the first period all the way through. Big performance there. I think Jarusik just in the beginning of that game to hold still. And at the end of the day, those, to your point, the D did a nice job, and we just kind of weathered that game on. It was a good road game.
Yeah, you had Liebel with a goal. Obviously, that line getting to the net was huge. And then Salonen, and his empty netter was, he had to fight it. They were back there, and he had to find to throw a dart a little bit.
And
if you miss the empty net, by the way, it usually means you lose, correct?
It's a goocher, right? It comes back for you. We joked the next morning in the meeting. I said, usually when someone shelves an empty net goal, just so you know, Sam, there's a beatdown coming your way. But in respect to what he did, they did back off and they were covering him. But it was a huge goal for us, and at the same time, getting those guys to that secondary scoring like that was a pretty spread out game.
Well, you have that one. That's a big one. That goes to win number 3 in a row, and then you have a day off to get ready for Lincoln, and a 2-1 win over Lincoln. This is a team that really smacked you around the first time.
I for sure thought so. I mean, in watching the video and doing the pre-scout for Lincoln, we played so poor against them the first time we played them. We didn't execute, and partly credit to them. They're big, they're hard, they skate, they're veteran. But at the same time, we were so off cue. It was kind of a mockery at our pre-scout about how this is how bad we looked, guys. Just so you know.
Did you learn anything from that video?
That's kind of the obvious and the honest about it. But I really liked our performance. I thought we found a way to again there, got through the first 0-0 first period, and then a big goal by Mills, and you just get some guys that are getting on the score sheet here that you can't just stare at Ronta and Miller and pass and then take those guys off the board and us not score right now, which is huge.
Well, Lincoln came at you. I thought they were, and they sure did come at you. You weathered that storm. They do tie it up in the third period on a funny hop off the boards and all. Yeah, but Colt Koepke scores with 1.9 seconds left. I mean, that's a gut punch for the other team, and what a awesome way to finish. And yelling, you're probably yelling in your brain going, shoot! Was it 3 seconds left when he crossed over that blue line?
I would say maybe even, right about 3. It was about 6 seconds when he stripped it at our blue line.
Yep.
One, I think it's anyone who watched it was great. You see a guy who's, to your point of gutting a performance, because he was back-checking because he got caught below the puck in the offensive zone. They make a late play, and he's able to poke it to neutral zone and win a race. And at that point, to your point there, you don't panic. He goes in and scores instead of ripping a 2-second shot or a 3-second shot.
1.9 seconds left. I have been part of games where Sioux City has lost. Shoot, I remember where Sioux City was beating Lincoln at Lincoln. This is a number of years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, are we actually going to get out of the ice box with a victory?
Yep.
Or at least a chance at up by 1. And I think they scored with like 0.5 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then, of course, losing overtime 2 seconds later.
Lloyd was in town, so we had a chance to speak in just
Lloyd Nady, one of the owners.
Yes, in succession of the whole game, and credit to our off-ice officials that run the clock to do those things. You got to figure, like, any blurb along the way, those seconds don't occur in the game. They're not even there. So, fortunate timing. Unfortunately for Lincoln on the road, and I think that was their 3rd and 3, and all 1-goal games on the road they lost. So it was nice that we didn't give up a point to them in this whole collection of point business.
Yeah, you didn't give up a point, and that is pretty awesome. You do give up a point on Sunday. The New Year's Eve game, 2-1 overtime victory for the Sioux City Musketeers. Again, speaking with Luke Strand, the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers, and I look at this game, and I mean, it was awesome. It was an awesome game for fans, especially the excitement. You get to overtime, you get the win in overtime. But the strangest thing, and I still have people asking me, did they have a malfunction when it came to shots? 31 shots for Sioux City to 2 in the second period. Unless you were there, you would never, ever believe those stats.
I just watched it, so it happened.
Yeah.
It's, I think, twofold credit. Obviously, from the start of the period, we played behind them and really, I thought maybe at that point just possessed the puck a ton in the end, and then we were able to stay up. We have 2 different non-stoppages where we rolled through 4 lines and their 1 line still on the ice.
That's nuts.
That's
it started with the back-to-back power plays to get you going, too.
It did. I mean, there was some momentum built in that, and I don't like that we didn't score, but the momentum gained and the shots taken and the traffic caused and the scoring chances that were there for us were large. So that gave us a push, but quite frankly, you look at the beginning of that game where we had to, I don't know how many we killed in a row, which was crazy. So,
yeah. There was a lot of interference going on in that game, or
something like that, right?
Something that goes on that. Anyways, but 31 shots in a period to 2. I mean, that is a number that it just looks so crazy because I could see 31 shots in a game, for that matter.
There's plenty of times where you don't get 31 shots in a game.
Well, in the difference, then tell me the difference between 6 shots in the first period and 31 in the second.
I mean, obviously, I thought we were just way more dedicated to. I thought Omaha won some races earlier. They got to some loose pucks before we did. And even in that first period, there wasn't much going on for either team personally. But the second period, I think those line changes, possession, and then the ability to counter and go back right at them after you get a tired group was very, very healthy for us. And then we just did a lot better job of being honest. We didn't try to pull up and make cute plays. We played a pretty much a firmer game behind them and using the trapezoid as much as we could for possession.
Well, it comes down to it. You're tied at 1 apiece in this game. You do get the score, and this is awesome too because he's such an awesome guy. Anyway, your team captain, your team leader in the community and out in the locker room is Brady Ferner, and he comes and gets that goal that tied that
big time
game up. I mean, someone had to get one by Driscoll sooner or later, you'd think, and Ferns does it.
It was funny. A good friend of mine from Duluth was there, the coach there, and he texted me after the second, in between the third there, and he just said, he's like, you guys might want to not screen the goal. He might have a better chance. But, at the same time, it was, I don't know if we did anything different to score than what we had done in the second and not scored, except for you get a tired goalie like that. That's tough, and we had traffic, and I liked it for he took something off of it just to make sure he hit the net with it, and there it goes through.
It gets it on net, goes through, ties it up. Then we go to overtime, and overtime is an interesting bird, that 3-on-3, because you have to have possession, and you can't give up possession without getting your butt back.
We did it twice.
Yes. So it was at he also did it in the third period. I think there was a 3-on-1 at the end.
Oh yeah, it was for sure. It was.
Yeah, but you can just see on your players and like a Parker Ford what he does, even if he's not putting points up.
Yeah, the line right now of Koepke and Parker and Matt Miller for me have done a great job. They got some size. They definitely got some grittiness with Miller and Koepke, and then they can all skate. So they end up playing a pretty possessing, promising offensive game by just being fundamentally correct, not trying to be highlight reels. It really pays off.
Well, hard working.
Yes.
I mean, it's and it shows, I guess, the whole team, and it's very addictive. If I look at this team, you tell me which group is not hard. You got Ford, Matt Miller, Koepke, Pospisil, Micah Miller, Ranta, Rowan, Mills, Salonen, Liebold, Hernandez, Grounds. Which one are you not comfortable with?
Yeah,
I mean you can put them out there against anyone, it seems like.
It has been that way, and it was. And I should say this, hats off to Matty DeCifel and scoring against us as we moved him. He's too good of a kid not to give him credit for it, but that was a little irritating. You get a defensive start and you give up a goal basically off a bobble off a face-off, but from that point on, I thought we were extremely responsible for what they were, and that's a good sign because we're going to get on the road here where the matchup's not in our favor, so you're going to have to be able to muscle some minutes out of some guys in different areas of the rink.
Well, and you get first change, they get last change, so they're going to set up their guys what they want, and right now, if you're comfortable with those four lines, you don't feel nearly as bad.
You don't for sure, and the beauty of the secondary scoring that's occurring right now is maybe some targets and some radar comes off of Ranta.
He's targeted. He's targeted across the face. He's targeted across the neck.
He's been taking a beating.
Yeah, and the only problem is you're going to get Pospisil suspended if they keep hitting Ranta.
Yeah, we are. He's a great teammate.
Is that a plus to plus?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
If I'm them, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I want Pospisil out of the game. So,
but don't hit Pospisil to get him out of the game. You got to hit one of his line mates.
Pretty much is the way it goes for him. Yeah, he loves to stick up for his teammates, and which is it's another great sign for our team. But at the same time, we'd like to see him on the ice instead of in a suit.
Well, let's take a break right now. Musketeer Coach's show. It's going to be games this week. Friday at Tri-City, Saturday at Lincoln. Of course, we'll have the coverage for you. If you want to watch it as a group, B-Dubs. TJ always does a great job out there for every road game, and, of course, Hockey TV, everything in between. We'll be right back at Bob Rose, North End Zone on Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. Musketeer Coach's show is right here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. Curtis Anderson, the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers, and Luke Strand. We're talking Musketeer hockey as they prepare for two big road games. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 straight road games, I believe, until we see another home appearance. But it's all right.
We play the Jets.
What's that?
We play the Jets.
You play the Jets? That's good. Do you have? Why don't you say we play Tri-City? We play in Kearney. We
play the Storm.
We play the Storm. What can you tell? We play the Storm.
Yeah. Hey, Belichick wins.
Homage to winning. Those are the things. How is confidence coming? Like, Tri-City is a very good team. Omaha was a 9-1 team. These are teams that are winning that you're beating. Does your group now feel that they can compete?
I definitely have. That's contagious as anything, right? So, and just the way we've kind of won personally is just it hasn't been a one-man show. It hasn't been a highlight reel. It's been just playing the game correctly, fundamentally sound, and as a group. I think when we play we like to talk about die for self. If you put others in front of your play, the outcome will be in your favor. And the guys have done that. And off the air there, we're speaking of Kepke and Fordo and Matt Miller, and there's a guy that they're staying with the plan and getting rewarded. So how can you not want to do the same thing when you're watching someone do it and get results?
And that's kind of the key on it, is get some results, because then you can buy into the system.
There's a buy-in for sure.
Yeah, and there's no highlight reels on this team. I mean, it can turn into it, but it starts with Leibold in front of the net on a second rebound, hammering it in the net. Mills going to take out a goaltender if that puck doesn't go through the guy. Those are my favorite goals, and those are the ones, what do they call? This is simple hockey. There's nothing flashy.
Yeah, I think that, to your point of just being rewarded for those efforts, it helps. There's no doubt about it. I don't think it ever changes a guy's way how they do things, but it definitely helps, and it's contagious. And when one's doing it, the other's doing it, and that's what's going to make our team special here. And I can't say enough about our guys as individuals and human beings. They've succeeded on that part of it, and good people, good players.
Well, I tell you what, they have to continue that, keep with the program. You're taking on a Tri-City team that is one of the tops in the league, but it's also a team that you've competed with very well.
Yeah, no, we've had a matchup there. Obviously, Larson, their goaltender, is very, very good. Hopefully, he's still at World Junior when we play him.
Is he still a World Junior?
Yeah, so hopefully that'd be a cause, but who knows?
I hope he's tired or something. And don't get me wrong, you got to beat all goaltenders.
The other kid played against her and beat us. He was good, did a great job. So we've got that. I think they've got depth. They've got a good balance to their team, and in their favor on the road, you know what? They're going to have a pretty good scheme as far as line matchups and defensive pair matchups.
Yeah, and I think that's where you guys come in, feeling comfortable with your lines.
Yeah.
Feeling much more comfortable of what your D pair is out there, and nothing against it, but you add one big monster cog, it helps the whole crew.
It sure does, and I think it loosened up minutes for some guys that might have, it's
had to be out there.
Yeah, and who you're slotted against. We speak about that quite a bit. Can we get the right people out there against the right opposition, and playing the right amount of minutes? Because, man, some of those guys for a stretch there when we were thin, you're playing Ronth at 26 minutes. Well, you're going to get a player that played 26 minutes, and that's hard.
Got a guy named Ferner who was 59 and a half minutes, something like that.
Literally for that stretch when we were thin. I'd look at the time on ice report after the game. I was like,
Those are numbers.
These are a couple days off after a game for these guys.
Yeah, and because they have to take the brunt.
Yep.
And it's good to have a Brady Ferner and veterans, a Mantero, and guys that can eat up that time, but sooner or later they get worn down.
They do, and now I think we've got that balance. I like our four-line combinations, health providing, and we've had the ability to draw 6 or 7 D, and those Ds have gone out and done a really good job, and hopefully we're closer to get Doss back here, and we got Ernberg out with an upper body injury that's not quite sure how long that's going to be, but those pieces are all, and those, I think they played some valuable minutes in the beginning of the year. Painful because we didn't get the result out of it, but valuable minutes in the idea of what the outcome could be for them down the stretch here.
Yeah, and I keep talking about veterans and how they're doing, but look at what's come alive with Luke Johnson, Babbage, who's really, you can see it, and Lucas Bond, Ernberg.
Yeah.
You knew Ernberg had the skill at the beginning, but he's doing those other things now, too.
For sure. And I just think, like we spoke of, the league has got a way of not being very fair to new players to it because of and one, it feels like the West has got a lot of veteran. Fargo's got a veteran team, Sioux Falls veteran team, Lincoln veteran team, Omaha veteran team, and those are the brunt of our schedule that way. And Tri, for that matter, has a pretty darn veteran team, including McMiniman, who would look good with us right now.
Yes, he would. I think he looked pretty good with us as a young player last year, too. But, that's the way it goes. Let's get a break in. We'll come back. We're going to talk more Musketeer hockey with Luke Strand. We'll talk about trip the Lincoln, or Lincoln's probably going to start thinking about circling that game after losing with 1.9 seconds left in the contest.
Yeah, and a little different animal in the old lunchbox there.
Yes, it is. We'll be right back. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. Anderson with you, along with the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers and Luke Strand. Musketeers in action, hitting the road. Well, I guess road trips. You guys are ready for these, aren't you?
You know what? We kind of are. I mean, I like when we go on the road. I like our.
Well, for a while, your record was better on the road too. Yeah. But there's something to be said about doing everything together as a team on the bus, getting ready.
There really is, and I think home. That's probably another little bit indicator here. Like our young guys have learned how to maybe handle home, handle family, handle visitors, handle school. Like they've learned how to handle a lot. So, but going on the road for sure, I think you end up kind of marching and beating in the same drum. And for a younger group, I think that's an asset that you want.
Well, obviously this week you'll play two teams that you've seen already. It's been a while for Tri-City. Lincoln on Saturday. You just saw them. And then after that, it's Team U. Did you figure out which Team USA it is? I don't even know.
We're going to get to Plymouth and figure it out.
Well, here's the thing. They play Team USA, but I'm not sure which one you want to root for to play.
Yeah.
Because they're both very talented this year. It doesn't always happen. Usually you're like going, let's go at the young guys.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
That young group
might be more skilled than the older group, right?
They are more skilled than the older group, but that older group is probably 5 first-round pick deep.
That's all, huh?
And probably 3 to 4 of them are on the blue line. So, they'll give us a handful over there for sure. And then this weekend, just Tri. I think Tri's a good team. Tri's got depth. They're kind of built correctly, in my opinion. And then playing on the road in Lincoln, which should be a new experience for our guys. Hopefully we can get through the whole Thunderstruck and not have any guys mesmerized by that.
I get mesmerized by that. I've only been doing games there forever, but it's an awesome open.
Yep.
It's as good an open as any minor league type of thing.
It is for sure. They do a good job there. So
in a horse barn.
It'll be important though to take both those teams because both of them I think can have some impact in their own buildings with their fans. They get some good crowds and just play a good simple road game that's going to put us maybe in a deafening state of someone trying to watch the game just bored out to death, basically.
Yeah, but that's all right. I like that because as soon as you're at the ice box and the Hawaii 5-0 theme comes, troubles are around the corner.
You do. There's a whole other show in Hawaii 5-0 when that thing starts blaring around there.
That guy gets playing, that means they're probably up by 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Does playing, and I hate bringing it up, but does playing in Des Moines small sheet of ice help you prepare for Lincoln's small sheet of ice?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good reminder for our guys for sure. I mean, I do like the fact, I think Tri-City makes you a better team when you play them. They play correct. You have to be pretty sharp about what you do. And then you're going to go into Lincoln where, a little more of a ping pong, like bounce here, bounce there, watch out type thing. And a very temperamental rink, I think, where the temperature of the game kind of goes up pretty quick because of, one, the physicality to their crowd, and then just that size of the rink for sure.
Well, get you playing.
You've got no choice. Tri's added the Madden boy. who's got 9 5-on-5 goals. He's been a big player for them since he's arrived there in Tri. So
he's a goal a game.
He's a goal a game, and he's a pretty honest way about doing it. So I thought they got a little bit thicker on that side, but I like where our D is. So I'm hoping we'll get matchups on the road because I don't really care who our D go out against.
Something different than you felt earlier in the season.
For sure, on that part, and just on the experience, but just like we spoke about, getting players slotted in the right group and to play against the right players is a huge emphasis. See
any surprises right now out of teams as you're looking at maybe the standings or what have you?
Haven't looked at the standings at all.
You got Fargo on top. Let me let you know who's up there. Fargo, I guess I'm not surprised at Fargo 37, Tri-Cities at 35, Stampede at 34, Waterloo 32, Omaha 30. You guys are at 23, Lincoln at 22, and Des Moines is at 19.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I think Des Moines played very well, like against us especially. I don't know if it's the right matchup for their group, but I think they're a tough team, and now we play each other so much here in the West that you're basically stealing points from one another. So to get out of that hole, give the other team a point here by overtime or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
It'd be nice to get some things done in regulation where you're not forking one back over.
Yeah, Des Moines. I'm surprised at Des Moines too because I like their components. They're big, strong, physical. They have all the right assets. I like Lincoln as well.
Yep, no, I do too. And I think there's a lot of hockey left here. I think a little bit, it's who can be healthy, who can be, down the stretch here, adding players like you get through the high school season. We had Sammy Walker back here. You get through the midget season, and hopefully we can add Sam Stang back here. Mm-hmm. Just I think some depth can assure. Don't get me wrong, other teams will be doing the same thing. I just really happen to like the players that we have the ability to add.
Well, you put a Walker who's probably up for Mr. Minnesota and his size. I think you're all right on that one.
Yeah, he'd be good, and he's gonna have some more miles under his belt coming back here. Already experienced it once as he went through the first 4 games there with us. So those parts will be good pieces. But right now, this is a grind. It's a grind time. It's
very important time. This January, February.
It's tough. It's tough games. It's tough road. But at the same time, if you're playing good right now, it's usually a pretty good indicator of what's coming down the stretch.
Well, perfect. Friday, it is at Tri-City. Saturday, it is at Lincoln. 7:05 puck drop. Is it 7:30 on Friday?
7:35 at Tri-City.
7:30. I hate those 7:35 games. 7:35 on Friday. 7:05 is on Saturday. Of course, we'll have the coverage here on 620 KMNS. Also, iHeartRadio on your smartphone, and then Hockey TV is the other option. You can head to B-Dubs as well to watch all the road games. Coach, best of luck.
Thank you much.
That is Luke Strand. He's the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers, and we talk Musketeer hockey every Tuesday, either at Bob Rose North End Zone or Bob Rose Point after, one or the other. Great food and a great atmosphere. That's going to do it for the Musketeer Coaches Show. Have a great evening. Stay warm. Curtis Anderson, Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City.